Mark Zuckerberg is not just running Facebook. He is shaping your future even though you didn't ask him to. Did you vote for Mark Zuckerberg? Because I sure as hell didn't. But his influence is enormous and it crosses international borders. And now, with 700 million people using Meta AI every month, he's becoming more rich, more powerful, and more influential off the back of your data. We have absolutely no idea what Zuck is going to do with that outrageous level of power, but there is precedent. He has a history of putting his own interests first, regardless of the impact on the rest of humanity. This man frequently meets with presidents, prime ministers, and other heads of state. And Facebook has used its very deep pockets and access to billions of users to manipulate politicians repeatedly. Zuckerberg is the founder, he's the CEO, and he's the majority shareholder in Facebook. So when Facebook grows and is successful, Mark Zuckerberg becomes richer and more powerful. And because of that, he is highly motivated to see growth at all costs. And in the past, when governments have resisted Facebook's expansion, he's dealt with it in ways that I don't believe are ethical. Facebook would juice the algorithm to flatter those politicians, and suddenly their pages performed better. They had more reach, they were more influential, they were able to hold on to power or grab power more easily. And when all of that happened, their resistance to Facebook would very easily melt away. In the last few years alone, these are some of the people that Mark Zuckerberg has met with. And of course, these meetings that I'm referring to are ones that are in the public domain. We have no idea who he's meeting with privately behind closed doors. So we have Donald Trump. We have Fumio Kishida, the Japanese Prime Minister, Yoon Suk-yeol, who was then the President of South Korea. He's met EU commissioners like Thierry Breton and Argentina's Economy Minister, Luis Caputo. The list is a global Rolodex of power. And what we know about Mark Zuckerberg is that if someone in a position of power asks him a favor, he's often up for it. He deleted posts in Indonesia on behalf of the president. He let South Korea's election body dictate what posts were allowed. He agreed in a hot mic moment with Angela Merkel to suppress anti-refugee content. And desperate to get into China and reach its hundreds of millions of users, he offered President Xi Jinping the opportunity to name his firstborn child. It's so cringe. And Xi said no. But this is not a CEO. This is an unelected diplomat serving only himself. In fact, Facebook is widely known to have undermined democracy on multiple occasions. A company called Cambridge Analytica exploited 87 million Facebook profiles to sway elections, and Zuckerberg only apologized after the scandal broke. He did nothing about it before. In the 2016 US election, Facebook let campaigns run dark posts aimed at suppressing voter turnout. So basically, posts designed to encourage opposing voters not to vote at all. Myanmar's genocide was fueled by hate speech on Facebook, and Facebook later admitted it did too little, too late. In 2014, Facebook secretly manipulated the feeds of 70,000 users to see if it could influence their emotions without telling them. Internal research showed that Instagram was crushing teens' mental health, yet Facebook buried the findings to protect growth. Of course it did. In Africa, outsourced content moderators were paid pennies to watch hours and hours of torture, violence, and abuse, leaving many of them traumatized. During COVID, Facebook quickly and easily bent to pressure from the Biden administration to censor content. And I highly recommend looking up Berenson versus Biden because it's a fascinating legal case. But then when Trump returned, Zuckerberg magically flipped and agreed that the censorship was indeed wrong. This was never about principles. This was always about being closest to whoever held power. And today we see the same pattern of flagrant disregard for ethics being repeated across Meta's AI products. Reuters exposed that Facebook's internal guidelines allowed chatbots to flirt with children and engage in romantic and sensual conversations. This wasn't a bug. This was written into a 200-page policy that had been approved by people across Meta, including in legal, policy, ethics, and engineering, What the actual? Once again, this was only removed when it was exposed publicly. And all of this is happening while Meta proudly boasts its core principles, which to me are just words. These are the core principles. We have give people a voice. Maybe that's only people who we agree with. Build connection and community. I wonder what the teenagers whose mental health has been damaged feel about that. Serve everyone, by which I think it means serve Mark. Keep people safe and protect privacy. Ha ha. Promote economic opportunity. For who, I wonder? Those principles are laughable when you look at what's actually gone on at Meta. And let's not forget, this is a company that makes billions and just pays a tiny bit of tax. So Zuckerberg has been through scandal after scandal after scandal, but still, his wealth grows, his power grows, and his influence grows. In 2008, he became the world's youngest self-made billionaire. By 2021, his fortune had hit 97 billion. By 2024, it was 219. And by 2025, it's estimated to be at $270 billion. But every jump was built on data manipulation, censorship, and scandal. The richer the scandal, the richer Zuckerberg becomes. And when it comes to AI, I think that we're just going to see Zuckerberg getting richer and more powerful. And I worry about that because I don't trust this guy. And he's getting richer off your data. Meta claims that they're not using your data to train their models, but there's a massive caveat, okay? This is what it says. It says, we're not using people's private messages with friends and family to train our AIs unless you or someone in the chat chooses to share those messages with our AIs. So all that means is if you're on WhatsApp and you're having a private chat with somebody and that person asks Meta AI to summarize your private chat, that private chat is then into Meta's AI training data. You didn't consent to that, but it's happened. Mark Zuckerberg is not accountable to voters or regulators. He bends democracy, he endangers children, he courts world leaders while dodging responsibility, and every year he grows richer and more powerful. The truth is he doesn't care because he doesn't have to. In the age of AI, should one man have this much unchecked power? I don't believe so, and please hit the subscribe, comment, and like this video if you are done with watching tech billionaires gaslight the entire world.